All right, it is 4 o'clock, so I'm going to call to order the Committee on Public Safety for October 22nd, 2024. Let the record reflect that all members are present. We have the minutes from October 8th.
I move to accept the minutes from October 8th, 2024 as presented.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 3-0. All right, next we are on to public comment on agenda items, up to 3 minutes. Is anyone here from the public? I don't see anybody. Is here for a reason, so we'll move on then to discussion action. The first item up is going to be the reappointment of Andrea Bitley for the 4th Ward member of the Board of Public Police Commissioners, term to expire June 30th, 2028. I think you're here. If you want to step on off the table.
Absolutely.
I appreciate you coming in today.
Thanks for having me.
If you could go ahead and just kind of just share with all of us a little bit about yourself. And I know that you were on this is reappointment, right? Yeah.
Correct.
So, how things have gone so far for you. And was it a full 4 years?
No, 1 year.
1 year. And what you see in the future.
Sure. Hello, my name is Andrea Bitley. I'm a 4th Ward resident. My husband and I have owned our home in the city for about 6 years. I'm a small business owner in the city of Lansing, mostly working in public relations and public policy, public affairs. Over the past year, I've been fortunate to serve on the police commission. Majority of the time has been spent learning what the functions are of the board itself, what it looks like when we need to hire a new police chief, which was part of our last year. I spent time reviewing all of the police commission's policies and procedures, and I've been going through the Lansing Police Department's policy and procedures guide. We introduced and passed 2 updates to our operating plans at our last meeting, which thank you for attending. I also had the opportunity to do a ride along with one of our officers on the south side of town, spent 5 or 6 hours with that officer, saw a pretty good subsection of what our officers experience every day. We encountered an individual who was having a mental health crisis. We encountered a situation with retail fraud, and we responded to a motorcycle accident, all of which were really important things for our officers to deal with every day. And it was a really great experience. I've enjoyed my time so far in the police commission, and I appreciate the mayor's continued endorsement, and I would very much appreciate yours as well.
Sorry, I pronounced your name wrong.
No,
Widely.
you're fine.
Made a mental note. Does anyone have any questions?
I've known Andrea for a long time, and I think her work in the Attorney General's office, particularly during some very challenging issues, really translated to understanding how to hold is accountable. A great fit for the police commission, and knowing her, we've chatted about her work on the commission, and she's done a great job of taking the role very seriously and committing the time that is required of the post. So I have no other questions or comments.
I don't have any questions. It sounds like Andrea has really taken a deep dive into the work, and I think that's what we like to see as we reappoint members to these boards and commissions. And so I have questions.
And just because I ask everyone,
Sure.
And I already know the answer to this because I've been to 2 meetings. You have time to make the meetings.
Oh, absolutely.
Perfect. Then I would entertain
I would move to reappoint Andrea Bitley as the 4th Ward member of the Board of Police Commissioners for the term expiring June 30th, 2020.
proper motion in place. Discussion none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. You will be on City Council
28th.
Monday.
Well, but with the reappointment, there's no re-swearing in.
Yes,
Okay.
you don't have to come if you don't want to.
Okay, thank you so much.
Vegetable there.
But you want to think.
I could.
All right. Again, thank you. So next we are on to C. It's a resolution appointment of Farhan Sheikh Omar to the 1st Ward member of the Board of Police Commissioners, term to expire June 30th, 2025. I believe Farhan is in the room. Sir, did you want to come up to the table here?
Yes.
And then essentially, I'm going to ask the same question to start out. If you could tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, why you're enthusiastic to serve in this post, and, what kind of things you would like to see you serve if selected.
Absolutely. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ron Sheikh Kumar. I've been a Lansing resident for 19 years now. My family and I came here as refugees about 19 years ago, and I fell in love with the city of Lansing. I'm someone that is heavily involved in the community. I attend every single meeting that this community holds, whether it's city council, public safety, the police, board of police commissions, city charter. And so I'm always everywhere, talking to community members, asking them what's more important to them and what do they want to see change in the city. There are about over 24 of city boards in Lansing, and I chose this one simply because this role comes with significant responsibility, and I'm committed to upholding the values of transparency, accountability, and community trust in our police force. I'm someone who grew up in a refugee camp where there was no such thing as police, and we didn't have any laws. There was no sense of peace. And so that's why my family, my mom and my dad, tried really hard to bring us to this country so that we can have a better place. And so, I believe police is very important, and we cannot live in a society where there is no police. But also, I know that police cannot do its job without the support of the community, without the trust of the community. And so it's how do we bridge the gap between the community and the police? That's what I'm committed on solving, and hopefully close the gap within that 1 year.
Does anyone have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I will just say that I've seen Farhan's work throughout the community, attending the meetings, putting in the work on work groups, and certainly your involvement with youth in our region, I think is important. And noting that you have a wealth of knowledge because of your background, because of your experiences, what you have seen in different parts of the world, and just bringing that to the Lansing community as a voice that maybe isn't represented currently on this board and commission. I think that as we make these appointments, it's important to include a variety of voices, a variety of backgrounds. And so no questions, just lending my support to this resolution.
So I would like to take the opportunity. I appreciate the fact that I see you at these important meetings. I think that are sometimes even more important than the work we do here, because they are people in the community. And you're not on these boards and you're still making it to these meetings, which is, very impressive in my opinion. And I see you around our community because you happen to live in the first ward. So I appreciate, your work ethic, your passion for this city. I think, your story with living in a refugee camp. Some people could come here and become bitter, and you have continued to try to serve your community the best you can. So I appreciate that very much. And the only other question I would have, again, do you have time to make meetings? Perfect. If there's nothing else, I would entertain a motion.
I move the appointment of Farhan Sheikh Omar, first ward member of the Board of Police Commissioners, with a term to expire June 30th, 2025.
We have a proper motion in place. Any further discussion? Seeing and hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 3-0. Your appointment will be on the 28th at City Council. We'll vote on it then. And then, are you going to be able to make that meeting? Then you'll be sworn in right there. You know how they do it for Chris.
Awesome. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, next we are on to item D, make safe or demolish 1044 Ontario Street.
We need a motion. It was formally tabled at the last meeting with a motion.
I'd like to move to remove this from the table.
Proper motion in place. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Right, passes 3-0. Now it's on table. Thank you. So this is a make safe or demolish for 1044 Ontario Street. It looks like we have the property owner as well as code compliance here, Nick Montry. So I will kick it off with Nick. I think that for those that aren't familiar, last time we talked, we tabled it. We wanted to see some movement, progress on this property. So Nick, where are we at?
Well, I'd like to say that I got pretty good news to report. The building permit has been applied for. That is currently being reviewed. Once that is approved, the mechanical permit is also ready to go as well. Raleigh took a tour of the home with the chief building inspector last week, Thursday to be exact. It is not a home that, it's not certifiable at this point, or the red tag hasn't been lifted, but it's not anything that we would consider unsafe or consider moving forward in the demolition process.
So if we were to make this a 60-day make safe or demolish, would this house be done?
In my opinion, I really don't want to speculate. I think 90 days might be a little better, only for the simple fact that there's still is the permit, there's inspections that have to take place, and I'd hate to hold someone's feet to the fire based on scheduling inspections. But I would maybe get the opinion of the owner, but I think 60 days might be okay. I'd probably feel better with 90. Exactly.
Sure.
Can I get your name for the record?
Jordan Craig.
Sorry, Jordan.
I've been in contact with general contractors and plumbers and everybody I need to get finished. And some of them are 2 months, 4 months out. Haven't signed any paperwork with anyone, but I am trying to make progress with the permit and contacting people every day. So 90 days would be great. I'm not 100% sure that would happen again with the holidays, but it's right around the corner. Just the bathroom and the kitchen need to be done.
I think the point was the holidays won't count against you.
Oh, okay.
Do they not?
I don't, do holidays count towards the, Greg?
What's the definition of a day, I guess?
Yeah.
Well, unless it specifically says business days, day means all calendar days.
Correct.
Yeah, my point was with several holidays in there, it's hard to get work done and city approvals and things like that, so 60 days it covers Thanksgiving holiday, Christmas, New Year's.
Yeah.
Weekday holidays this year.
I mean, my suggestion would be with 90 days, table it for 90 days, come back and see where. I think there's that's what the recommendation of EDP would be.
I think what Councilmember was asking is if we move forward with a resolution to order, make safe or demolish within 90 days, that'd be enough time to get the work done, or would be pushing the timeline. What you just said is you prefer us to table it for 90 days. Those are two different things. I'm just trying to make sure we're on the
Yeah.
same page.
Yeah, I would like to see us to proceed and move through this process, but certainly want to give you enough time. If you're telling us he's at the finish line, I would like to put a button in this rather than having it hang over our head, because 90 days out right now, does that push us into the next calendar year? Yes.
Yes.
So you would have an entirely different
Committee.
committee.
So even tabling it for 60 days. Yes, that I made it that time. Sure about the committee.
I think what I'm trying to get at is it sounds like you could be done across the finish line in the 90 days.
The work is minimal, but finding someone to do it in that time frame is the issue.
I know there were some strong feelings last time, so I'm going to throwing a suggestion out here is we could table this for one more month on this committee's agenda. If the tune changes from EDP in 1 month, we can do a 60-day make safe or demolish. If we're still at 120, if they keep making progress, there's no reason to move forward with the make safe. In my opinion, I'm the only one person, but Harlan's telling me that they've been out there personally and are seeing great progress. Owner has demonstrated the willingness to get the work done. 30 days plus 60 is no worse off than passing 120 today. But in 30 days, we can reevaluate if it needs to be done. That makes safe or demolish. That was saying that. You see what I'm saying? Like, we can't pull it back once we do it, but if we hold it 30 days.
Yeah, no, and I guess the question for law on this entire thing has, in this process, have they already been assessed that fee that's on here?
I believe so. I mean, the department would know that, but I think they have once it's
referred to council.
once it goes to, yeah.
Okay, so, I mean, if that is the feeling of this group, that we table it for 60 days,
I would say 30,
30,
and then we can come back in 2 meetings, and if this entire situation of everyone getting along changes, we can certainly move forward and save for demolish.
It'll be, just for the record, it'll be longer than 30 days. Because we have one council meeting in November 18th. So it'll be December before it makes it back to you. Right, you do it 30 days, it'll come back in November, but 30 days, the end of November, but won't actually go to council for final action until December. So it'll actually have close to 45 days.
Can we do less than a 60-day? Okay, so we did.
Yeah, I was just making it clear that
Yeah,
it's
no,
not
thank you.
30
That's
days.
good clarification, but,
Once it goes to council, it'll be December.
but the next 2 meetings from now is.
Oh, thank you.
mean,
I just looked. You guys meet November 12th,
November 12th, and
then council on the 18th.
the 26th.
Well, it's the week of Thanksgiving.
December 2nd, we have a meeting.
December,
Yep, and then November 18th
why don't we
and the 16th. 16th will be our last meeting of the year.
table it to the 18th, then gives us.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was
The
looking at
18th, those are the council dates
council
he's giving
meetings.
you.
I lied. We have a meeting the 12th and the 26th.
Table till the
November.
26th, it'll go to the December 2nd council meeting.
That would make sense to me as long as that.
Okay with that?
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have a motion to table this until the November 26th meeting? Was that, I'm sorry, was that a motion?
Oh, I moved to table to the November 26th public safety meeting.
You have a proper motion in place. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Third, it'll be tabled until November 22nd. Okay.
Good work.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next we are on to item E, which is setting a show cause hearing.
She's the one that's going to be a little late.
Okay,
Should be
she's
here
not-
anytime though.
she's not here yet.
Yes.
So
Oh, is this Lindsay?
Hi.
Hi, come on in,
Come on
we just
in.
got to you.
if you want to sit right up here at the table. So we have a resolution setting a show cause hearing of make safe or demolish for 122 South Grand Avenue.
And that's the information they have in front of them.
I believe that's more commonly known as the Walter Neller building.
Oh, yeah.
So Nick, if you wanted to kick us off.
Yeah, I can do that. So this was initially heard in the May Make Safe or Demolish hearings. It was tabled back in the day when the demo hearing officers were tabling cases. It was rescheduled. It was tabled a few times. I have the exact dates in here if you'd like. The hearing rescheduled from July to August, so there's been plenty of time given. I know that Lindsay said in May that the plan on your guys' end was to demo the building yourselves. As of today, there have been no permits applied for. I believe you guys have access to the file and have seen the reports submitted, excuse me, by SME and then as well as by the Office of Building Safety and the building official. And so that's where we're at. I mean, obviously the building's in the condition that it's in and so we're bringing in towards a 30-day make safe or demolish would be the recommendation from the department.
Okay. Then we have your name for the record.
Lindsay LeBlanc.
Okay. And so you've heard the recommendation from our code compliance department. So now would be an opportunity for you to speak on this issue.
Sure. So my name is Lindsay LeBlanc. I am the Director of Development for Granger Group. I've been with the company a year. And I've been out the last 3 months because I had a baby in July. So thank you. Hence why I'm also late. We had our third week in daycare and we're already sick. It's great. The gift that keeps on giving. Anyways, I had been working on this project prior to my leave. I met with the Demolition Commission right before that, where we were on track to get this down this fall. Obviously, that has fallen off the wayside since I've been out. We're a small team. There's only 9 of us, so there wasn't someone to take over that project, but it was fun. Our biggest holdup is what kind of project that we want to do there. We don't want to demo it. It's a great opportunity for a brownfield tax credit. So we're still evaluating a couple of different options for that. And at this point, I think the easiest solution for our group that I met with last week is just to pave it for the time being and turn it into a parking lot. So we're working on that plan. I did reach back out to my contact at Mid-Michigan Management. They did our asbestos report, which I shared with the city, and they'll be doing the abatement of the building. So I'm waiting for them to get back to me with a date for when they can start that work. We've already received quotes for that. And then we're working with our partner to actually do the demo of the building. So no, at this point in time, I have a timeline that I put together that I'm happy to share with you. I got it. That I have not updated yet, but I certainly can share that with the city of what our process will be to get this down. But ideally, Granger would like to get in front of this process and take it on ourselves instead of having to pay for the city to do that. We've already paid toward $50,000 into this building trying to make it safe by adding the murals and putting the fencing around the building. So we understand that this is something that the city is taking seriously, and so are we. Oh, sorry, yeah, sorry. I only have 4 copies. So again, this was back when I started it earlier this spring, so lots on my plate coming back, and I'll be updating that. But our plan is to demo it at this point and pave it until we come up with a project that and
Saves me from making a
have some
copy.
revenue. Yeah. And then I do have the email. I just reached out to him yesterday to get on the news or to get a time frame, but I do have the email of the contact if you want to see it as well as kind of proof that we are trying to push some things along.
Yeah, I've got 719 demo permit. We didn't get a demo permit, right?
No, as I said, it got stalled when I went on maternity leave. I went out at the beginning. My daughter was born on the 7th of July.
So with an updated 11/29/24 was this target date. What is the target date right now?
At this point, really it depends on when Mid-Michigan can get to that abatement started. So hopefully, I would say if we can get a contract signed by the end of this month, by the end of October, they could get us in the book sometime in November, start date. And they said that would take about 8 weeks to complete.
Does anyone have any questions?
So, sorry, so to begin, you would begin the demo process in November is what your projection is now, and then it would be 8 weeks until that is.
No.
Building is down and.
Oh, it would be longer than 8 weeks. So I'm sorry, I'm not super familiar with Lansing. So Grand and then Allegan, thank you, is actually owned by MDOT. So the permits for MDOT would take quite a long time. So we probably wouldn't actually have the building down until started at the beginning of the year, or as once we get all of our permits. But the first step in the demolition process would be have the building abated. Mid-Michigan Management is the company that we are going to contract with to abate the building. So they go in and remove all of the asbestos that they can. So that's the first step in demolition. And then from there, their partner company would actually do the demolition of the building. So no, at this point, while I've been out on maternity leave, this entire project has been stalled. So
Was there any movement between May and when you took leave in July? I mean, it was tabled at one of, these meetings. I heard. Were you?
I had a lot of paperwork prepped, ready to go for all of those permits. So with my team, which is basically me and my boss. So no, at that point, nothing had really been contemplated or finished, finalized, because we were still evaluating what it is we wanted to do once we took the building down.
Oh, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we meet again in 2 weeks. What will change between now and then?
I could have a contract or at least something in process with Mid-Michigan Management on the asbestos or abatement of the building, which again is the first step in that.
We made the process. Who pays for make safe demolition? We.
We pay up front and then it goes on to the tax bill. They pay eventually.
So if we were to move this forward, this would just be an if they were to tear it down themselves before it got to, let's say we made it 60 days, but the process has already happened, they're already tearing it down, then that would be the fulfillment of the process.
Correct. The ultimate resolution passed by council is that the owner makes safe or demolishes, and if they don't, we do it.
But if they're in the process of demolishing it, then
Right, we do not step in on that unless that stalls.
this would essentially be an insurance policy to make sure. We're not saying we don't believe you, just an insurance policy that it's going to happen. Not sure how the committee feels.
I'm sympathetic for the pickup in the schedule, but I think 60 days is reasonable. Sounds like you've got a plan. So I mean, not to put too fine a point on this, I think 12 years ago, I reported this to the city as unsafe on the act back then. So it's been a long road.
I understand.
Yeah, and we're just setting the show.
Just setting the show.
And because of the way the meetings fall again, the hearing won't be till
Okay.
November 18th.
So that's, yeah.
And then it comes
Right.
back November 26th and back to council in December,
That's
so,
right.
for final action. So.
Yeah, by then you may likely be way ahead of us. So, I mean, it sounds good. So I think,
Paperwork.
yeah.
Okay, so I move the resolution setting the pause hearing to make safe or demolished 122 South Grand Avenue.
That will be November 18th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, passes.
That means,
No, you
I
go.
was gonna say, so then after that, it comes back to this committee where we determine whether we set a deadline.
Okay.
Like that, we did send the notification for the August 22nd hearing. It was returned to sender. It was sent back to the city on September 19th.
Okay, I was gonna say, we did not receive that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know they
Can
made
I see
multiple
that?
attempts to get someone to sign, and there was no forwarding address, so ultimately it came back to the city about a month later. So, but to be in compliance with the state law, we do post on the property as well the exact same notification 10 days
Yeah.
prior to the date of the hearing.
Interesting, because this is the correct address. Okay. Can I take this home with me or no? Okay.
I mean, do we
I just
have,
want to show this to the
Sure,
office
absolutely.
manager as to why.
We just make a copy of that.
do we
Yeah.
have a copy somewhere? That's my,
Well, I would like this
Yep,
at least.
that's your evidence that they tried.
That was discussed, where like we never even received.
A picture of the
Take a
front that
picture of the
shows the
front.
yellow tag. and-
Yes, I can do that.
That's right.
It also tracks on,
Yep, USPS.
post, yes, it'll tell you that it's returned to sender.
So do I continue to send my progress to Raleigh? Okay, of the demolition process and where we stand, so once a contract is signed, I can send it to him, so he's.
Yes. And they'll alert us.
Yeah, or you can CC me because now it's in the hopper.
And you are sharing.
Yep, I'm sharing, yep. So now everything is, they've sent it to us to keep moving, at least this way. Everything has started to move. We'll have a record of it also.
Okay.
All right, perfect. All right, we're going to move on then to item F, which is the introduction and set a public hearing for the
Can you stick
amend
around for
chapter
like 2 minutes?
404, to provide designated electric vehicle EV parking space regulations. Do we have someone here to speak on that?
That'd be me.
Yeah.
Just me. So when we spoke about EV charging rates, we discussed the possibility of adding penalties for parking in EV charging spots without actively using the infrastructure. So what this ordinance does is I want to say criminalize is probably the wrong word, but it creates a penalty for anyone parking in a spot designated for electric vehicle charging if they are not actively plugged into the machine, if it's operable. So you're in a city ramp, for instance, where we have infrastructure for EVs. You pull in there and you're a internal combustion engine vehicle, you park in that spot, you are in violation of this ordinance. If you pull in there in your electric vehicle and you are not plugged in, you're in violation of this ordinance. And the reason we do that is these are pieces of infrastructure designed to provide a service and generate capturing with their cost system. So if someone's parked in that spot and not actively paying to use that spot, they are effectively stealing a resource from the city. So this ordinance would add a penalty for both of those, and then there is a resolution that will come along with a bunch of other fee changes through Ways and Means that will address the fees associated with this. But that's basically, it's pretty straightforward. I think there's a few questions I'd have for the city attorney through the drafting process. EV parking spaces. I don't know if we can apply this to EV parking spaces on private property. It doesn't clearly state that these are just city-owned EV spaces. May have to make that change. I just thought of that on the way out the door last week.
We did think about that. It's difficult. The challenge right now is mostly an operational one because we don't know a way to monitor so private parking is managed by the private entity that.
Right, no, I'm
owns that
saying
parking.
it doesn't say just city spots.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so I'm not contemplating.
Got it.
Yeah, I want to make sure we're only covering city resources.
Okay. That can be
I mean,
done.
if we can do private, it'd be fun, but I think.
Not yet.
Yeah, the linchpin here is the city owned resources.
Yes.
So we might have to make changes to this before we finalize it.
C mentioned something about city parking restrictions.
Yeah, it does, but in the definition section, sub 2 doesn't say, it says EV parking space means a parking
I will
space
check.
designated for direct access to an authorized station. The charge does not just specify cities. The section you're talking about, Councilmember Cost, adds the layer of if there's further parking restrictions. If it's an EV spot, unless that's how the fee structure works.
Yeah. No, I see it. Yep, I see it.
I do see a world in which we maybe charge people to plug their vehicles in on street parking and they can waive the hourly fee as well, but we don't have those in the infrastructure yet.
That's the second page.
Thank you.
Subsection C talks about additional parking restrictions.
Oh, yes. I think the definition we would keep the same, but we would clarify in B. When using an EV charging station as an EV parking space located in a city lot or located on city structure.
If everyone's
Have to
comfortable
make the
moving along,
change.
I'd like to move along, and then, I mean,
As
this is,
amended.
it's not a material change, I don't think.
Nope, it's a clarification.
I mean, we're just setting the hearing,
Yeah.
so we're just
So-
introducing it, so just approving it as amended, and then I just need an amendment for Friday morning.
We can do that.
Okay, well, I would move the resolution setting the public hearing for
November 18th.
November 18th. Yep. We have proper motion in place. Seeing and hearing no further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, passes 3-0. November 18th. Public hearing. Next, we are on to number 6, other. G, street parking enforcement. And this is marked Office of City Attorney. In your packets, we were provided with a draft ordinance, which I believe cleared the review board last week, end of week.
That's correct.
And we have the city attorney here to tell us about this.
Also true.
And then if you could read in the email that you sent to, just to explain, because we had the questions.
Yep.
The sergeant
Yep.
on bins and
Yes,
bins and non-plated,
absolutely.
obscured.
So the ordinance that's before you is addressing the parking of non-registered vehicles on public right-of-way. And it prohibits this and makes that a civil offense that is treated like any other parking ticket. It applies to any and all city right-of-way. This is not necessarily city lots. You would have to commit a crime in order to get your vehicle into that lot unregistered, and those turn around more frequently. In any event, the main idea is that, so under state law presently, unregistered vehicles that sit around for more than 3 days get towed as abandoned. We cannot make it a crime to park an unregistered vehicle. It's a crime to drive an unregistered vehicle. And we cannot tow an unregistered vehicle immediately, but we can make it a civil offense, a parking offense, to park an unregistered vehicle. And what this really targeted towards, as my understanding as the request came from Councilmember Cost, was the sort of storage of unregistered vehicles from usually car repair shops or entities that hold themselves out as car repair shops and just sort of accumulate vehicles. And they get parked along the rights of way and into the neighborhoods. And so this would provide a new enforcement strategy against that occurring. There were a lot of questions about ways to enforce this, and we weighed and looked at a lot of these. I'll just say we have to color within the lines that are provided by the Uniform Traffic Code, which enforces sets a lot of the enforcements for parking and use of the streets and sidewalks, as well as the Michigan Vehicle Code, which sets a lot of the framework for how vehicles can be used anywhere in the state. In this instance, motor vehicles, cars, trucks, etc. There was a specific concern raised, and we looked at this at some length, about there are vehicles that we are told are parked in the right of way. They do not have license plates, and the VIN is either intentionally blocked from the windshield, that you can view the VIN through the windshield on vehicles. That's either blocked or the VIN is obscured or otherwise defaced, so that you cannot tell, you can't identify the vehicle other than here it is. What do we do about that? And the very short answer at this point is we can't authorize towing of that vehicle right away in order to otherwise identify it. And we can't authorize getting into the vehicle. Like, let's say that somebody very conveniently places a bunch of mail on top of that, or some piece of paper on top of the VIN number. Police would have to get a warrant to actually, get into the car, move the piece of paper, and identify it. And that's, they certainly can do that, and we would support that. It's operationally challenging, I'm sure. But that's sort of where we are in the state of play for that piece of this.
And then just for committee's sake,
Sure.
Unregistered vehicle means?
Yep. Unregistered vehicle is any vehicle that either does not have a license plate visible or has a license plate with expired registration. If it's a vehicle that's not legally registered to drive on the roads in Michigan, it is an unregistered vehicle. And so all of that would be enforceable.
And then this would be something that parking services and
Correct.
police could enforce.
Correct. It would be a civil parking infraction. Parking services are authorized under law to enforce that. Police are also authorized under law to enforce that as well.
And I think that the spirit of this is, I think we all have those cars that have been in the street collecting Social Security for some time that are not moving. And this doesn't limit someone's ability to, say they have a narrow driveway like I do at my house, to have my spouse park in the road and take the car to work every day. That's not what we're looking at here. These are the weeds are growing around it cars. I'm sure you all have seen them.
Yes, I have seen them. Many of them, yes, actually.
So this is just trying to chip away at that issue however we can without impacting folks that really don't have the necessary space to park. Anyone have any questions, comments, concerns?
I don't have any questions.
Is this something you want to move on now?
I mean, we could, it looks.
Introduction and setting a public hearing. No, we just had the ordinance. We just got that this weekend. So we can bring it back at the next meeting on the 12th, and then you can still set it on the 18th.
Let's bring it back. We can do that.
We'll meet before the one long meeting in November anyways.
Because this is just, sorry, discussion item. I overlooked that. I apologize. I got too excited. It was ready.
Well, yeah, we could throw together a resolution if you want.
On the 11th, you're still before the next, I mean, you're back a meeting,
Yeah.
but.
If there's no other business, before this body, we are adjourned at 4:40. Longest meeting of the year. Thanks, Hal, for coming.
A lot of stuff.